What's up guys, Chasing Lightning with episode 21 of our Williams Revival series on F1 Manager 22. It is round 9 of the 2023 season and things are looking okay. Our objective for the season of course was to finish 7th in the Constructors. We're currently sitting in 4th. In the Drivers, Piastri sits in 6th on 19 points, 6 points ahead of Fernando Alonso, 11 points ahead of Sergio Perez, and meanwhile Théo Pourchaire 13th with 2 points ahead of Daniel Ricciardo. Talking of drivers though, I had a little look at the scouting because, where there is still the Pourchaire question. I do, as much as I keep saying has this odd performance where he'll surprise me, I keep thinking a faster, better driver in a car is going to help us out a little bit, get us more points. So I'm scouting Sebastian Vettel because why not? And I'm also scouting Sergio Perez just to throw some options in the box. I've obviously already got a scouting on Fernando Alonso, I've got scouting on Bottas, I've got scouting on Norris. So we have options we're looking at, but yeah, there's still very much potential for a driver change. But with 4 days out from the Canadian Grand Prix, we're not expecting any upgrades for this race, so we should just be able to keep on going forward and into the race sessions, hopefully. The ATR period is also ending this weekend, which is quite nice. We've refurbished our tour centre, that'll help us out immensely. Claire is very pleased with our new tour centre, so that will do us nicely and we'll keep on going forward. Is there anything going to happen of note before we get to the first, or the start of the race weekend? It doesn't look like it, does it? We're still in the championship, we're doing okay. We've got 70 laps of the circuit Giovinazzo. I had a little look, it's a 19-second pit stop here, 9 seconds under a safety car, which is worth bearing in mind for strategy this weekend. In terms of performance targets, though, it's a power circuit. I think we can probably get ourselves into Q3, and I think if we're going to say that, we're going to say we're going for a quality position of P8, because I don't see why we couldn't do that with one of our drivers. And I'll be proved horribly wrong. We're also going to go for a fastest lap, because I think I can pull that one off at a circuit like this. If we look at our car in terms of the circuit analysis, it's a medium speed and low speed corner. Our low speed cornering, of course, is improving. Our medium speed is fine. Our high speed is okay. We are losing out on top speed, though. We have been going down against the grid average on top speed of late, which means the next set of developments might be more power. That could be where we're looking. Anyway, let's go into the race weekend. I'll see you on the other side of qualifying, and we'll see if we're going to get a good start to the race weekend. So, quali complete then, and it's not been the best run we've ever had in quali, it's got to be said. Oscar Piastri putting up an 8th place start, Pourchaire starting down in 13th. Bit disappointing considering he had all those newer parts in his car. So, qualifying, looking at the grid, Sainz, Verstappen, Hamilton, Perez, Russell, Bottas doing very well, making a case for a drive with Williams for sure in the Alfa Romeo. Leclerc, shockingly, down in 7th after putting up the best times in Q1 and Q2. Just drops off in Q3. Maybe he was on worn tyres, used all his tyres in the first 2 sessions, who knows. Then Piastri, then Norris and Ricciardo in the McLarens just behind us. Ocon, Gasly, Pourchaire, Vettel, Alonso, Stroll, Tsunoda and Zhou Guanyu start ahead of the Haas of Magnussen and the Aston of Alex Albon. Bit of a mixed up grid for this one, it's got to be said. But it is race day, so let's see what they've got to say in the commentary box.
Fight is out! It's race day!
Qualifying went well for Williams, as attested by their strong position on the grid. Now it's all about finding that edge for the race itself. We saw a reasonable push from Mercedes in qualifying, and they'll have plenty of opportunities here to achieve a great result. And the weather is sunny here today, apart from a few clouds. Let's hope they remain scattered on the horizon.
And each team will be hoping that fortune is on their side. So bon chance to them and their drivers for this Canadian Grand Prix.
So we're all set up, ready to go then for this Canadian Grand Prix, 70 laps of Montreal. And it's going to be cloudy, which is a good thing for us, I think. Strategy-wise, I've been doing some thinking about strategy. The faster of the two strategies is apparently to go mediums to hards. In fact, it's apparently a 2-stop, but is a 2-stop worth losing that track position? I mean, Piastri does a decent-ish job of defending, I suppose, but I don't want him having to overtake, so I think we're going to stick with Strat A here for Piastri. That's going to be his go-to. I think I saved some tyres with Pourchaire. I could have sworn I did. We've lost those because of Q3. Of course we have. Was it Piastri I saved tyres with? No, it wasn't. Okay, so I think Pourchaire, my thinking was initially we're going to go for the 2-stop and really try and push, but I am very aware he does have a lack of mediums, I believe, because I used one. Oh, we've got 2 sets of mediums. Okay, is there a strategy here where we can go for a play it safe early start on the mediums, maybe a second set of mediums, and then go to a slightly harder ending, a slightly softer ending even, that could be a good one. Let's take that back a lap or several. Right, that's +9, that is there a gain here? Not really. Okay, because that way we should be able to do a bit of a push on the tyres. I say, really confidently, bit of a push on the tyres would have been nice. Anyway, we'll make it work somehow. There's going to be a combination of this that's like the silver bullet. I can feel it coming. Where is that silver bullet combination that's going to make us have a really good race? It's not there. Okay, we'll try and drop that back to wherever it was that got us +9. We'll go long on the first stint, slightly shorter on the second stint, and then we're going to go for the full soft on the final stint, which should be good overall. Right, we're going to go, 2 stops with Pourchaire, 1 stop with Piastri. Of course, if there's a safety car, that will change everything, and there is usually a good chance of a safety car. We'll add some extra laps of fuel, just because I think having that bit more to burn is going to come in quite useful. We're going to go driving style wise. We're not going to go too much on the tyres, but we will use some fuel and we'll of course use some overtake. Try and get some places off the line. Well, we can go a little bit more flexible with Oscar, and we need to get him up the grid. He's starting in 12th, so someone's got a grid penalty ahead of us. And I think that will probably set us up quite nicely for the race. So we'll start with that, we'll firm that, and we'll go to the grid, ready for Crofty and Caroon to talk us through the race.
The drivers there lined up on the grid under mostly sunny skies. Williams here. With a top 10 position on the grid, this race could really go either way for them. And looking at the second Williams car, with their starting position in the back 10, they'll have their work cut out for them. And we're just moments away now. This is it. We're moments away now at the Canadian Grand Prix. And it's lights out and away we go.
So the race is underway then, and hopefully the Pourchaire strategy is going to be one that plays off the best for us here, because I feel like keeping on faster tyres on a track that you can overtake, like Montreal, could yield some good dividends here. The split strategy also probably going to be quite helpful just in general. Pourchaire already gains a place on Sebastian Vettel and probably is looking at the back of Lando Norris. The two McLarens side by side will stay on board here. Oh, we've overtaken Ocon. Ocon's had a terrible start. He's lost a place to Vettel as well, and he's already dropping back and holding Alonso up, which is probably going to cause problems in that team. But up ahead of us, we've got the McLarens doing battle. We are staying in touch with Lando Norris. I don't have much fear that we're going to be stuck behind Norris for long. I think as soon as DRS opens, we'll start making us some positions. As Piastri ahead of us, making a move on Valtteri Bottas. We'll go aboard for that when that finally comes up. Let's have a little look and see what the replay looks like. He's just taken up the inside, and he's on a medium compounded tyre versus a soft, which is a very, very good start for Oscar Piastri. He's done very well to make that work, coming through the tight chicane, coming into the hairpin, and he is going to just make that stick, you would hope, coming out of the hairpin as we go back live to the garage, who are looking very excited. The twins, the triplets, in fact, now. Probably need some more models for mechanics in this game. Just going to say out loud, but we need to see if we can keep pushing. Piastri was having a go then, I think, at Leclerc as well ahead of us, and Pourchaire coming down the back straight, this long back straight, fastest part of the circuit, goes for a move on Lando Norris and makes that one stick. And we came back on board at the perfect time, as Piastri is still at battle with Valtteri Bottas. We're still at battle with Lando Norris on board with Porsche. This is a very, very interesting battle shaping up between these three teams. Can we get this back up the inside? We will do. Will we manage to make it stick through turn 2? We won't. They were going very big in the battle with Lando Norris today. And on the power, we're going to try and get past them. Can we stay there? We are going to stay there. Hold it close. Get onto the back of Ricciardo. Piastri still in battle there with Bottas. Let's see how that's played out. It's played out, I think, going through turn 2 here. Bottas round the outside, superior traction on the softer tyres has made that one work out for him. But I think this battle could be going on for a while, and that first pit stop should be coming at about the same time for both teams, which makes it quite interesting, but also gives us the opportunity to go a little bit longer, which is something we'll be looking for if we can help it. But back on board with Porsche, he's up into the top 10. He is looking at the back of Danny Ricciardo, starting to drop Lando a little bit. If we can get the two teammates up together, as Piastri goes up the inside of Valtteri looking for another pass, those two are just neck and neck all the way through this. We're going to go up the inside of the hairpin on Danny Ricciardo, though, get ourselves up into 9th, and now we have both of our cars in this fight. And having both of them in the fight gives us a really good opportunity, purely because we can switch Porsche to a one-stop strategy if we need to, and really, really make some inroads. I mean, I say that, I'll have to start really looking at how I use the tyres. Let's look at this replay, just because we were looking at Piastri's. We'll have a little look at Porsche's. He's done very well getting up the inside here. Bit of a skew-whiff looking Ferrari up ahead as well. That's interesting, but there we go. We've seen the replay, and we're looking pretty strong now. So Porsche trying to get onto the back of Piastri, trying to drop the two McLarens. If we can keep our two drivers close together, we'll have a really good opportunity, I think, to start making our way up the field, being able to use one of them to lead the way through, one of them to hold people back. I think we can get Porsche ahead of Piastri. He's probably on a better strategy, but we're not going to force it just yet. There's not really a gap behind us to make that work, to make the switch work there. And Porsche, honestly, I question his overtaking a little bit sometimes too. So we just need to wait for this gap to filter its way out. We'll see how things go once we go into DRS, which we should do for the first time here. And Piastri going for our Bottas. Bottas, of course, DRS off of the Ferrari of Leclerc ahead. And he's not going to make this one stick, Piastri. He had a go, but just ran out of room. It's all looking pretty good, though, on the onboards. We are looking like we could be racy, could get some points here today. As Piastri up the inside of the hairpin. He's taken a lot of curb there, but he has made it stick, and now we're going to be back under DRS. That's going to make things interesting. We have to drop down to neutral DRS or ERS because we've used everything we have. But is it possible here that Porsche is going to have a little look at the inside of Bottas? They'll certainly be up against him very, very soon. If we can force Bottas to defend from Porsche, and that'll drop him away back from Piastri, that'll be quite nice all around. We are back under DRS, though. DRS is going to be a big, big motivator here. We didn't have Piastri in DRS range of Leclerc, which is interesting. But if these two cars up ahead keep passing each other, if Piastri and Bottas keep passing each other, one of them will inevitably end up in DRS range of Leclerc fairly quickly. Leclerc has taken the fastest lap of the race away from Porsche. Bottas with the overtake up ahead, but we're not embarrassing ourselves yet. We're doing quite well. We're having a good little battle. Good little battle, I should say. I can speak English properly, I promise. Ricciardo, we're not dropping him enough for me to consider making the switch of the two cars and letting Porsche go for it. And I think that gap is going to be what kind of dictates whether I keep Porsche on the two-stop or I go to a one-stop. It doesn't really matter at what stage I go to the one-stop either, because the hard tyres will go 70 laps if we need them to. And it could be that I just decide that a safety car is where the difference gets made. But either way, we're just going to kind of keep pushing on, keep going ahead as best we can. I think I'm going to drop Porsche down to standard tyre usage just so he doesn't completely burn his tyres out. And head to head up the front, neck and neck through the final chicane. A pretty dodgy place to pass, but Piastri's made it work. Perez goes for the fastest lap of the race. Piastri is making that stick through into turn 2. And we are now hopefully going to start looking at the back of Valtteri Bottas, trying to get past him, because we just need to drop the McLarens above all else. if we can get our two cars sort of working in tandem, we should be looking pretty good for catching up to Leclerc. Maybe that could be a good little points haul for us if we can get ourselves caught up and get slightly ahead on strategy. We could be okay. Piastri, I think we'll go on board with him just because there's a battle brewing there still with Bottas. This battle could go on for the entire race. It's not impossible because they can't be far off on pace from us at the moment, the Alfa Romeo, especially on a straight line. We are very much mid-pack, as we saw before the race, on straight line speed. So it could go very, very much either way, but we're down the back straight now. We're not going to have DRS because Bottas will pick it up from us, and we're not going to get anything off of Leclerc. Pourchaire also in the mix. Another driver is locked up. I'm not quite sure who that would have been. It was in sector 3. There's a big gap formed there between Ocon and Gasly, so I've got to assume it was Gasly. It was Perez had a lock-up. I didn't even see him drop back, but he must be right in front of Oscar Piastri. He is right in front of Oscar Piastri. We're off board, so I didn't see the lock-up. But there we go. We have got now a Red Bull, a fast Red Bull nonetheless, but a Red Bull in our sights. So we could do something magical here. Get ourselves onto the back of the Red Bull. This is going to keep us in the DRS train as well, which is quite nice. Will help us going forward for the rest of the race as well if we can stay in this DRS train. Piastri, I mean, he's dropping back because also Perez has got DRS from Leclerc. But we've got some DRS, and that's going to help us a little bit. Pourchaire might have been the big loser in that situation. It's sort of a bit of a mixed bag as we speak. We'll go off board again because we do need to keep an eye on what Valtteri Bottas is doing behind us. I know I can go on board with Pourchaire and keep an eye on exactly the same thing because Danny Ricciardo, you've got to say, not really a threat at this point. We do need Pourchaire to really start pushing up though, really start getting more out of his engine and the slightly newer engine parts and gearbox and the ERS that he's got as well. But Piastri defending very well from Bottas, looking strong at this stage. Although Bottas coming with DRS up the inside room into turn 1. Hopefully we can keep our nose in ready for turn 2. We're not going to do it. This battle is going to go on. It's going to go on all race. We've been squeezed out and now we've got Pourchaire past Piastri. What has happened there? Has Piastri had an incident? Let's have a little look at the replay. Has Piastri had a moment there? If he's had a moment, that's a bit worrying. We'll see if it gets shown on this replay. It's probably going to cut out after turn 2, which is where we need to see what's going on, realistically speaking. And we did just kind of get checked up a little bit. Wasn't really what we were looking for. And now we've got Piastri and Pourchaire fighting out, and that's not really a fight I want to see happen in equal machinery. It's got to be said, I would rather they work together and chase down Bottas. If we could help each other out a little bit, that would be very nice, but we're not quite doing it yet. Piastri at the inside up. I don't like these guys being this close together either because they are both prone to an accident. They've hit each other before, and I don't really want them hitting each other again. That's not the one we're looking for. So we're going to stay up the inside with Piastri, Pourchaire behind, a watching brief now. We're going to get DRS, and we're both going to have a go at Bottas. And we do need to get ourselves clear of him. I think if we can get clear of Bottas and work together, we can probably find a little bit more pace than Bottas has. But it is going to be a case of us working together and just seeing things out as best we can here. We're going to just quick sweep there onto the DRS. Can Piastri make the move up top into turn 1? He has got the overspeed, it looks like. Is he going to make it stick? He's going around the outside. He has gone around the outside. And the battle between Bottas and Piastri continues. And maybe the benefit we're going to get here is going to be on tyres. Is it possible? I mean, Bottas is pushing hard. Piastri is barely pushing. It is possible that we can get a tyre advantage here and just make something work for us with a long view in this race. You've got to think Verstappen, Sainz, Leclerc could be favourites here. I do have my questions about whether or not I need to push Pourchaire a little bit harder and commit to the 2-stop, but I don't want to do it just yet because you never know at Montreal when you're going to get that safety car that's going to change everything. And as long as we're staying ahead sufficiently of the McLaren, which we just about are, we should be okay. Although I'm thinking, let's go a bit aggressive with Pourchaire's tyres and let's see if we can maybe get ourselves past Bottas and do a little bit of rear gunning, because Porsche is actually quite good at defending. We would then be committing him to the one stop, but I don't know if that's. I don't think that's a bad idea. We could even switch their strategies around, put Piastri on a two stop if we can get things going. Sector one, there's a lockup. That looks like a McLaren of some kind. It can't be a McLaren, surely. It's Perez. Perez has binned it into the wall. Let's have a look, see what happened with Perez there. He's absolutely having a nightmare today. Is he out of the race with this one? We'll see in a second. He's just gone straight on and into the wall. Tried to turn through a little bit too early. He should get going again. You would think he wouldn't be out of the race because of that. The Red Bull team, not terribly happy, it's got to be said, but understandable. We've not got a safety car out, which is nice. That means we're going to be able to keep going for a little while yet. And Perez with the fastest lap of the race, but now down in 13th. And Porsche, I am committing him to the two-stop now, I think, just because I don't really have much choice. We do need Piastri to hold up Bottas here. I don't know what we're doing in terms of... Oh, he's gone for a look up the inside. Not quite made it work because he came from way too far back. But Porsche, it looks like, is starting to get the feeling he can get past Valtteri Bottas under braking somewhere. And if he does that, we'll be absolutely laughing. But that will inspire Bottas to push on a little bit and try and pass Piastri just to build some kind of gap there. It's going to be very, very tight, this race between the three of us. I think Leclerc is gone. I think top 5 is gone. I think Ricciardo, Norris, Vettel and Ocon are still in this battle as well. It could go anywhere in the pit stops. Just takes one mistake in the pits and we could all be in a very different order around the opposite side of it. But I am still having that is Porsche being held up kind of feeling, because it does feel a bit like he might be being held up. Piastri again gets checked up. What is the AI doing here? Porsche needs to get a run up the inside of Piastri and just go for it here, because Piastri keeps making that same mistake. We saw that live. We're not going to watch the replay. I am going to go into double speed though, because I feel like otherwise it's going to be an hour and a half episode, and that's what I've been trying to avoid the entire time. So we'll speed things up, keep an eye on what's going on the track. We will speed things up even more as we get deeper and deeper into things. But we are still in a good battle here with Piastri and Bottas. Porsche also keeping an eye on things. Piastri going for a look into the final chicane. He's going to take the lead in this 3-car battle up into 6th. And keep it with DRS up the start-finish line. That might help him put a bit of a gap on Bottas and give a gap for Porsche to slide into, possibly, ahead of Bottas. That would be the ideal here if we can make that work. So, Porsche out into the DRS zone. He's going to be pushing hard in his tyres. Needs to have a look up the inside, but Bottas covered it whilst having a look at Piastri. We've got a chance into the hairpin here. Can we make it work? We're not going to make it work there. Bottas's tyres must be running out quite rapidly. It's got to be said. But Bottas going for a look at the inside of Piastri, and they've swapped places again. This is a ridiculous battle. Porsche going for a look now up the inside of Piastri. We need to get some idea of what's going on with our two drivers. Porsche now pulling away. Hopefully going to stay pulled away from Piastri a little bit. I think it's time to unleash the full power of Porsche, who is the faster driver at this stage, on Bottas. Keep Piastri behind. We're going to tell Piastri not to fight his teammate, because I think that would be a huge mistake at this point. I'm not going to tell him to drop back. I'm just going to tell him not to fight his teammate, just to hold off and let Porsche do what he needs to do. He's got past Bottas. Good stuff. And this could be the secret to how we make this two-stop strategy work. If we can keep pushing on, get ourselves ahead of Bottas, we'll be absolutely laughing. But we need to build that gap first, because we cannot have our two drivers fighting. We need to get Piastri to get past Bottas as soon as humanly possible. That's going to be our next big thing. We will get there, of course. We will get things going. But hopefully, as long as Bottas doesn't get a really, really good DRS run here, Bottas will close. He will close on Porsche. Let's go off board. He's going to try and sneak up the inside, and he will make it, because that's just how that's going to go. I didn't even switch drivers. That's how well attuned I am to this game already. But still, we're going for it, and Porsche is going to be alright. But have I taken his don't fight teammate off? I haven't taken it off. played it smart this time. Okay, Pourchaire has all the freedom in the world now to try and get past Bottas. Has a look, can't do it. There's a yellow flag in sector 1. That looks like that was Perez again. Perez having one of the worst races of all time. Albon's had a spin. I'm sure Perez was involved because Perez is now right at the back of the field. So let's see what's happened here. Albon's just binned it. So what happened to Perez? How did Perez end up 20th and 11 seconds adrift of Albon? That's a question I need an answer to, and I'm not going to get one, it looks like. So Pourchaire going for the inside of turn 1, and once again he's past Valtteri Bottas. We're going to try and use our deployment here just to build some kind of gap. I'm feeling like we need to get something comfortable going to be able to defend in the DRS zones. Maybe get ourselves out of DRS range would be the ideal here, if I'm completely honest. Go neutral here just to save a little bit, or try and rebuild a little bit. Coming out of there, right, Pourchaire will have Bottas coming up the inside, and that's inevitable. Bottas will have a look into turn 1, or the final corners. You'd think he's not made it that time. Into turn 1, you've got to think he's having a look, though. Not having a look. He's still holding off behind. And they're not far off on tyres here, but of course Bottas is going to go straight to a set of hards. Pourchaire will go to a set of mediums when that time comes. And that could be the difference maker. We're going to go standard because I think at this stage the mediums probably have more pace than the softs. Although having said that, Norris has found a way past Piastri and have to take off that don't fight teammate because I think he's taking it as a drop back, which is not what I was saying. I was just saying don't get into the fight too much. But either way, Pourchaire staying ahead of Bottas up top. Piastri doing a wonderful job to drop places. No, he needs to get himself back involved in this fight a little bit. Norris probably having a bit of a late resurgence, but he's got some tyres left. I do think we're probably going to have this is a good track for an overcut. I've just got a feeling it's a good track for an overcut, especially if Perez keeps trying to slam his car through walls. That's if anyone's going to bring a safety car out in this race, you've got to think it's probably going to be Sergio Perez as Bottas gets past Pourchaire into the final corner. But Pourchaire will try and get up against past Bottas again. English, easy for me to speak. And have a little look at the replay. It's just going to be a DRS pass into the chicane. Nothing overly special, it's got to be said. But still, Pourchaire goes on the chase. Does what he needs to do to get himself as far into this race as he can. I don't know if I've got enough tyres to do more than a 1 or 2 lap overcut with Pourchaire. Certainly with Piastri, I'm going to be fine. But as I said before, it's going to be very much a case of if a safety car comes out, we're laughing, and if it doesn't, we're in trouble. But we're going to start seeing the first few pit stops coming sometime fairly soon. I think about lap 20, 25. Alonso and Show are in already, so they've decided to gamble. I'm guessing they're going to come out on a set of hards. Perez has pitted, that's why he's so far back, and he's also on a set of hards. So that's the secret to what's going on there. They're going to come out on fresh hards, ready to make a go of this. Everyone when they come in is going to go on hard. It's got to be said. It is just going to be Pourchaire doing the 2-stop. But the 2-stop, I think, could be a strong move around here. Either way, as Bottas still ahead of Pourchaire going into this next lap. But we've got the DRS. We're going to have a look here. Probably not sector 1. Something's happened again. Who is it that's had a moment in sector 1? It wasn't Piastri. It was Sonoda having a lock-up. He's going to have had the exact same crash as... Or he's not. Wall of Champions? No, he's just had a lock-up and had to take the escape road. Nothing too dramatic. Another sector 1 yellow flag, though, so something's gone wrong again somewhere else. I think that might have been Alonso's Ocon having a moment. Let's see what's happened here. That's going to be a bit of a rough one. But it's okay. He's going to live to fight another day in the Alpine, and still the battle goes on. Pourchaire and Bottas for all the marbles. DRS open. Can we get round the outside here? That would be ideal. We have gone round the outside into the final chicane. We've reopened DRS. We're going to keep going. Keep it up into turn 1. get ourselves ahead. Bottas, what's his tyres looking like? They're not great, but then neither are ours because we did the big pushing early on. And I've got to think Bottas is probably going to try and sneak in for a pit stop very, very soon. Right, so we're still ahead. We built a small gap to Bottas. I don't think he's going to be quite close enough to attack. Maybe, I mean, good defending by Porsche, it's got to be said. No one ducking off into the pits on this lap, so we should be okay in terms of keeping on going for a little while longer. It's very much an attritional war, this one. It is waiting for that safety car to come out, is what's going to be, I say waiting for it like it's coded in, but I feel like Montreal is a place where we see a lot of safety cars. In my offline games, I've seen at least 4 red flags at Montreal, much less yellow flags, so let's not count our chickens, but it's certainly possible that we will see some kind of stoppage or at least suspension in this race to keep us going. We've dropped 13 seconds behind George Russell. Porsche is in the pit window for his first stop, which is interesting because there's not really a gap between Porsche and Piastri, and they're supposed to be stopping on the same lap, which is not what we're looking for. We're going to zoom ahead a little bit, just because as much as the battle with Bottas has been interesting, I don't know how interesting. There's been a crash, several cars involved, the safety car is active, and that, boys and girls, is all she wrote. We're going to do a double stack, get ourselves in as fast as we can, and see this one out to the end. That's going to be my strategy for the rest of this race. We'll drop all that back, do a harvest, do a conserve on everything, and this hopefully is the one where we pull off the big one. So we're not going to go medium, that would be a huge mistake. We're going to go to the hards, we're going to keep track position. There will be a slight double stack with our cars. That's sort of inevitable. We'll go on board with Piastri just to see how bad the double stack is. All the leaders are in, which is going to be a situation for sure. I am just thinking, is there a possibility? Let's have a look at the replay before I talk through the possibility. K-Mag's had a moment. What's happened to Kevin Magnussen? Kevin Magnussen has just binned it. I didn't really see the contact there, I'll be honest. I'm not sure there was contact there. I'm just thinking, Porsche, if I can stick you on a set of softs now, it is a bit of a change of strategy. If I stick you on a set of softs now, while everyone else is going to come out on hards, are we playing a blinder? We might be. We might get a little bit of magic coming off of the safety car here, getting some good laps, hopefully get a couple of positions from this as well, because that would be the ideal. We'll go on to the back wing camera just to make sure. Hopefully Piastri will be smart enough to back the cars behind him up, but you know, it's just not happened. In, out, let's get this done as fast as we can on the double stack. We've made that one work on a 2.6. Can we have a 2.6 here? That'd be great. 2.7 for Piastri. That's worked out actually okay. I say this, but Piastri is losing places because he's getting past in the pit lane having double stacked. He should be okay. He's playing the long game. Porsche playing the short game. And this could be either brilliant or atrocious. I'm not quite sure which. We'll catch up to the safety car. Get ready for the restart. Gasly and Magnussen both out of the race. And Perez is out of lockup under the safety car. Sergio Perez cannot get a break of any kind today. He just can't get a break. Let's have a look at what's going on with tyres, because the safety car is coming in. And it is going to be about how many places we can get over the next few laps on these fresher, soft tyres. See if we can build ourselves any kind of gap whatsoever. We'll wait for the safety car to disappear a little bit into the distance, ready for the restart, and then we will just go full out, go for it, and just see what the rest of this race can hold for us. There is a small chance we could be about to put Théo Pourchaire on a podium. It's not impossible. It's not anywhere near impossible as the safety car gets ready to pull in, round about now, safety car is pulled in. We're going to go standard push and overtake, and we're going to go standard push and overtake. Okay, we're ready for the restart, boys and girls. We're ready for the restart. Let's go off board. Ready for this to kick off. We're just waiting for Verstappen to pull the trigger here. If anyone reacts faster than the guys ahead of them, they're going to be in good luck. And it's away. Verstappen has just pulled a little bit of a gap away on Hamilton, I think. Really got the jump on him, which has been surprising. But Pourchaire is the man to watch now, and he is on the back of Charles Leclerc. If he can stay on the back of Charles Leclerc and pass him is the ideal, of course, once the DRS becomes a factor again. We could be looking at something quite special here. We could be looking at a special kind of race. Let's go double speed, because we are waiting for these tyres to come up to temperature. Of course, the softs do come up to temperature faster than the hards, but while they're cold, it all comes to nothing. So here we are looking down at the inside at the hairpin. We're going to have a look at Leclerc. We've gone for it up into 5th, and George Russell is next in our sights here. If we can start pulling away with Pourchaire, we'll be absolutely laughing as the race goes on. Can we get past George Russell at any time in the near future? There's a fight between Sainz, Hamilton and Verstappen ahead of us, so very much in the thick end of things here. And we're going to go for a look on George Russell here, probably through the DRS zone. You'd have to think we're going to open the DRS, but we haven't got DRS yet. So we're going to get stuck behind Russell, who is very much defending. Got around the outside. We're going to go for it here, heading towards the hairpin. Théo Pourchaire, in about a lap, has taken 2 places. And now we've got Carlos Sainz in his sights. We're going to go down to neutral on both drivers on the ERS because we have no choice. Let's watch the replay of George Russell, of the Pourchaire overtake on George Russell. He's done very, very well there to make that one stick. And now he goes hunting down Ferraris. This is where things get very, very serious at this stage of the race. Pourchaire is going to be getting time hand over fist on Carlos Sainz ahead. Piastri has made a move on Vettel again, and looking at the back of Ricciardo, ready for that battle with Bottas to resume to the end. But DRS now open as well. This is going to be the big question mark. DRS open, softer tyres. Yes, we're a second behind right now, but we're not going to stay a second behind. You've got to feel like that's going to be a thing. Although George Russell was having a little look at us then, had a bit of a nibble, but we should be able to get caught up quite quickly, you would think, to Carlos Sainz. We should have. He's pulling away. I don't know how he's pulling away, given the tyre situation, although I guess it is a faster car overall. But DRS open. We should get some good overspeed to get ourselves up into touch with Carlos Sainz, you would hope. Certainly up towards the chicane, and with that battle going on ahead as well, they're going to be holding each other up. Pourchaire loves a go into the hairpin. Is he going to have a go here into the hairpin? That's the big question of the moment. He's not going to have a go when he's that far back. We are going to get DRS off of the back of Sainz. And if we get DRS off the back of Sainz, maybe we can start pulling ourselves forward. Hamilton as well could be a sitting duck here because he shouldn't have DRS. He somehow got DRS. I don't know how, because Verstappen was way more than a second clear of him. But such is life. Let's go into double speed, see how these things stack up, because somehow Hamilton keeps getting DRS despite being nowhere near Verstappen at the DRS detection point. But there we go. I'm not going to ask questions. Lewis doing Lewis things as Théo Pourchaire takes the fastest lap of the race, just to prove the soft tyres are a winning combination. We still need to get some clear air ahead of us. We do need to be a little bit aggressive where we can, because if we are a little bit aggressive, and we're going to go aggressive here with the overtake through the DRS zone, we should be able to get some kind of gap. I'm not sure if we're going to be able to fight Verstappen, but I certainly feel like we should be able to put up a good fight against Hamilton and Sainz ahead of us, and that's where things really count. Going into the hairpin now, this is where we've got big questions to ask though. Into the hairpin, are we going to make an overtake happen here? We're not quite making the overtake happen. Maybe pulling out into the DRS zone. Got a good chance if we hammer down the ERS. Have we given ourselves a good launch off that corner? We've got DRS now. We need to get ourselves pushing onto the back of Lewis Hamilton. That's what we're looking for here. 0.3 of a second. Somehow Verstappen has dropped back well over a second. Sainz is looking racy. And we are in a 4-way battle. I mean, realistically, we're in a 6-way battle for the lead. and there's a big battle going on up front. Sainz has taken the lead, and Hamilton will have a look at Verstappen. Is Verstappen having some kind of car trouble? That would be a shame, wouldn't it? That'd be a terrible, terrible shame if he was to be having car trouble right now. Either way, let's just keep going and see if we can maybe get onto a podium, make some hay while the sun is shining. Because otherwise, I will have just made an enormous mistake switching Pourchaire to a two-stop, and he will just drop to the back of the field like a stone, probably with no way back. So Hamilton, DRS open. Pourchaire, DRS open. Sainz and Verstappen are battling up top. We're back under DRS now. And this is where things are going to get a bit dicey. Can we get ourselves involved in a real battle here? Pourchaire doing well. And there's been a crash on track. And it's in Sector 1. Who has binned their car? I've got to assume it was Tsunoda. It was Tsunoda. What has Yuki done to ruin his own race here? I think he's had exactly the same crash as Perez earlier. He has. I don't know why the AI turns them into that wall. They would just slow down and rejoin. I don't know why they'd waste a front wing. Either way, we are still racing. We're not under full course yellow flags with a safety car, so we have still got something to fight for, and we are still having a look at Lewis. We're not out of this one just yet. We're just looking to pull away from George, really. That would be the idea. We might even have a look here. Théo Pourchaire may go for a look on Lewis Hamilton in the hairpin. He hasn't done it just yet. I thought he might have a go at the inside, but keep it very tight there. Didn't do it, but DRS open. Hamilton's a long way back from Sainz. He's not going to get the toe he should do. Have we got the speed here to pass Hamilton? You'd like to think we would do, especially if we can go under braking, slightly softer tyres, more grip, going around the outside into the chicane, and we're going to make it stick. And we've got DRS open, and now we can start looking at the back of Verstappen and Sainz. Hamilton coming from a look down the outside. He will have another go, of course. Lewis Hamilton is not going to give up this without a fight. We all know that, but if we can stay involved here, we can stay somewhere in this mix, we will slowly start making our way forward. We've got the inside line here. That should help us immensely, and we've got the better line through this corner. Hopefully we're going to come out with DRS anyway, and that should be enough to pull us clear of Hamilton. Going around the outside, into the DRS zone. Hamilton just a nose ahead, but DRS is going to open for us in just a second. It is open. We're pulling through now, and we're going to try and chase down the boys ahead of us. We've passed. We haven't made it stick on Hamilton. I thought we made it stick. We are now in a fight. We went from a fight with Valtteri Bottas to a fight with Lewis Hamilton in the blink of a safety car. But we are currently ahead, and we've made the being ahead stick. So now it's just time. Chase down these cars ahead. Hamilton, half a second down, 0.6 down. We are going to be looking pretty strong as we come through this final, or come into the second half of the race. I would like to say, especially if we can stay up with the leaders and they start to pull away from Hamilton, we'll be in a very good position. Pourchaire with DRS looking at the back of Carlos Sainz. Verstappen also, of course, having a look, but we're in a three-way fight here, and if Hamilton's not careful, he's going to get dropped entirely by us, and it will be a three-car race to the finish, which is something we're very much looking for. Piastri, of course, still 3 places outside the points. Ocon has dropped back and made a little bit of a gap between the leading field and everyone else. So Norris, the last man in the seven-car leading pack, I should say, but we are still very much in this race for the lead. And we've got DRS again. We're all going to pull up on Verstappen, a bit of an accordion effect. And Sainz is going for a look up the inside of this chicane. Will he make it happen? Not quite. May make it happen into the hairpin. If he does, Verstappen will have to pull out of the move. And if he pulls out of the move, he's going to fall right into our hands. He's going up the inside. Sainz, another car has spun. I don't know who it could be. I think it was someone fairly close to us, but I'm not quite sure who it was. Tsunoda again absolutely puts it in the bin, and if it's not Perez, it's Tsunoda. Perez made his way up to 13th already, and we're on the back of Max Verstappen. Sainz having taken the lead. But we get DRS, and Verstappen are sitting duck. No DRS. We're passing Max Verstappen in racing conditions up into second place at a track where we should be absolutely nowhere. That's crazy stuff. We are still waiting, of course, to build that gap. There's a gap to drop into behind Norris with a pit stop, but it's not really a sure thing at this stage. if there is another safety car, I'll drop in whichever tyres will make it to the end. I think actually a set of mediums will make it to the end from here. I think you could probably, if you were allowed, you could do this race on 2 sets of mediums very, very handily. Is Sonoda coming into the pits? He's not. He's going to keep going. I don't know why I'd have retired that car half a minute down, but you know, R's not the reason why, but no one else but me is going to be pitting again. And Piastri, by the way, is having an absolute mare. What's going on with his instructions? He's not being held up by an instruction. He's just being held up by not being faster than the cars ahead of him. He is having a look, but he's not making the move happen, and that's kind of a worry, because he should be able to drop Ricciardo quite quickly if he can just get ahead of him. Meanwhile, at the front of the field, Théo Pourchaire is going for an overtake on Carlos Sainz under DRS, and he will lead going into lap 36. He will be the leading driver in this race. Now, can he make this work for him, make it stick? I am starting to think, when do I start banging in the quali laps? How much tyre do I have left? I mean, in theory, these will go to lap 50, which gets onto another set of softs, which would be, sorry, lap 55 even, which gets onto another set of softs. I'm not sure I want to go quite that far with it, but it is possible to get us onto another set of softs and just bang in the quali laps until the end, which would be quite tasty. It's got to be said. I think maybe there's an argument that if I push up to an aggressive for a little bit, just for a few laps, just about lap 40, we should start building a real gap to Sainz and Verstappen, really start showing some dominance, showing our teeth, and really I want to build a gap to Ricciardo is the ideal. Piastri still not making the overtake. It's not really working out for him. I'm going to give Piastri a chance to harvest, actually, because he's in a good position to kind of just stay in that DRS frame, recharge his batteries a little bit, and just keep himself in the race. We are going to have to start looking to pull away from Sainz. Who's having a look at the inside of turn 1. We should be able to hide the inside of turn 2, though, with our slightly more aggressive driving. We have done that good stuff by Pourchaire, and now Pourchaire just needs to start tearing away as quickly as he possibly can, if I'm honest. He needs to start putting up a kind of gap that no one's seen before. If Pourchaire was ever going to keep his drive for the rest of the season, he needs to be absolutely running away from Carlos Sainz right now. He needs to be a couple of seconds up within a couple of laps. In fact, we're going to go fast. Oh, Pourchaire, as I say that, has, of course, completely binned it. What has Théo Pourchaire done? He just had to keep it on the track, buddy. Just had to keep it on the track, and now you've got all that work to do again. That has ended his race, quite frankly. Théo Pourchaire only has himself to blame there, and now he's got all that work to do to pass all the cars ahead of him on significantly less tyre than he had before. That'll have been a big drop-off. We need to see if he can start catching up on the softer tyres that will, of course, be wearing out, which is going to be the big issue. His safety car is out, and this could be the redeeming factor of Théo Pourchaire's race. Is there a set of mediums? 32 laps, set of mediums. Going to pit this lap, and we're just going to play it cool until the end. We're just going to play it cool until the end. Okay, we'll save as much tyre as we can. In fact, we're going to push the tyre into the pit box, because if we can save any kind of gap, we will do. Piastri we're going to conserve everything with, and hopefully this, as a safety car, will help us out. Piastri will get himself up into the top 9, of course. He will overtake Pourchaire. Safety car, we are not going to come in with Piastri. We're going to stay out. We're going to bring Pourchaire in. That's not a big problem for us. Pourchaire will go in, he'll make a stop, he'll come out somewhere around 12th, I think. It's about a 9-second loss in Pourchaire. Yeah, he'll come out somewhere around 11th or 12th, I would think. Pourchaire in the pit. Bottas has also come in for a pit stop as well, interestingly, which is a decision I maybe wouldn't have made. And now we've got to make up the choice again about whether or not we keep Pourchaire behind Piastri. We just let them race to the end. Is he going to get out of here ahead of Perez? He has done. Just about. Excellent stuff. Okay, we're going to conserve these tyres now. And hopefully we're in a good place. Hopefully. I mean, I feel like Porsche is going to be the man of speed into the next restart. That's going to be a big question mark. Tsunoda's finally going to get caught up. ERS is fully charged for Piastri, which means I can have both drivers going full overtake, and hopefully Ocon won't defend for his life. Have we played a blinder here? Bottas has gone to a set of softs to the end. Probably a little bit bold, I'll be honest. Tsunoda might be able to get back through the field with a set of mediums, at least get himself closer up the field. This could be a very interesting restart. Very aware I've not done much fast forwarding, which means we're going to be a long way off. Safety car in this lap. It's been a bit of a race though, so if this is an hour and a half episode, I apologise, but I promise it's been worth it. It's been worth it for a great race. We've been in battles with everyone in the field at this point, more or less. No one has been lapped yet, which is a shocker given how many people have put it in the bin. We're about to see the safety car pull out, so that is going to be time to go. Standard, push, and overtake, and Porsche is going to go standard. Why is that saying? Oh, because it came in on hard. I was having a moment then. And overtake, right. Time to shine, Teo. Time to shine. Once the race gets underway, you need to get past Piastri and gone. That's your decision now. Well, that's your position at least. Just get beyond Piastri and gone is what we're looking at. Off this restart. Beyond Piastri and gone, Teo. This is what you need to be doing. And you've not done well because Piastri has just left you for dead. Honestly, Piastri has left you for dead in a way no one could have predicted happening. We are going to have to go fast forward here because I don't think we're going to make it many places off the restart unless Piastri is looking racy on Ocon. He's not looking terribly racy, but just keep an eye on the clock here. He has made the move stick. Good stuff by Piastri to get himself ahead of Ocon. Are we going to see a replay of that? Even bigger questions. We are going to go to neutral with both drivers though. And Porsche needs to be making something happen. Let's see how Piastri made the overtake happen. It looks like we're going up into the hairpin for the overtake, which would be a pretty standard hunting round. He's made it happen before the hairpin, not even under braking. Good stuff by Oscar Piastri. And I think that puts him up into a point. It does put him up into a point. We're looking okay. Right, let's go fast forward again, because DRS is enabled. And with DRS enabled, we are definitely dangerous to the cars around us. Porsche has taken the fastest lap of the Grand Prix, but he's not taken a place off of Ocon yet, and that's what I'm really worried about, because he should have been taking a place from Ocon long before now, I'll be honest. He should be moving well up the field. It's Piastri doing the overtaking, and Ocon kind of holding Porsche up, which is not what we're looking for. Come on, let's keep going faster, because I do feel like there is a bit of a build-up coming here to an overtake. Porsche has to do it now. There is no excuse because there is such a big gap between Ocon and Piastri that Ocon has to be holding us up. It's like he's trying to back us into Alonso. We've put a gap on Perez, which is just obscene. Going for the look under DRS though, and this should be all she wrote for Esteban Ocon's chances of a point today. We've made it stick, gone around the outside, kept it on the black stuff, and now we're going to start chasing down Piastri with the better tyres. And all should be well in Williams' world, and we're on the back of the two McLarens as well. So we'll keep going forward, and hopefully Porsche is going to stay in touching distance of his teammate here, and they can start helping each other through a little bit. I mean, I say helping each other through, but you've got to feel like Porsche is holding Piastri up. What's the last lap looking like? Oscar, if you don't put in a good lap here, I'm afraid I'm going to have to say the immortal words. Teo is faster than you, and you will make way. I'm sorry, you will make way. It's just not going to be a conversation that we have. So DRS open. We need to start making some moves. Shake and bake time, baby. Shake and bake time. We haven't done it just yet, but we're going to have a look down the long back straight under DRS. Some pass has to happen here. Either Porsche on Piastri or Piastri and Ricciardo. Otherwise, I'm switching the cars round onto the next lap. I'm sorry, it's going to happen. It's got to happen. In fact, I'm going to say it right now. Do not fight your teammate. Let him go. Good work, my son. I'm sorry it had to be that way, Oscar, but Porsche is the winning meal ticket for us today. and we've got enough of a gap now between you to make that really stick. Come on, get away and on the back of Danny Rick. That is your next mission. Daniel Ricciardo is not far ahead, and Daniel Ricciardo is catchable. There's 20 laps to go. If he's catchable, he's passable, and we should be able to pass him fairly quickly, if I'm honest, because I can't help feeling we do have a bit more pace than Danny Rick will have at this stage in the Grand Prix. So go around, have a look around the outside. We're not going to do it here, not going to do it into turn 2. Charles Leclerc is very much in our sights. In fact, the entire leading pack is in our sights now, and we're just waiting for a chance to make a move. And I can't help feeling that this is a good time to tell Porsche to do some harvesting, especially because we can tell Piastri not to put up any fight at all. Let him back off a little bit. We're not going to let it go to a whole second if we can help it. We're just going to try and get as much charge in that battery as we can do. DRS zones are very well spaced out here at Montreal. It's got to be said. We'll go to neutral now, just for the benefit of trying to keep us in touch with Ricciardo and the DRS. We should catch back up here fairly quickly, and then we can really start having a race again. We've pulled away from Ocon at least, so very much going to have a car in that fight. Porsche has been battling Ricciardo in the background. There are 16, 17 laps to go. Are there any more points on offer though? Danny Rick is looking a little bit embarrassing here. We're going to have to try and take him down that back straight, or hopefully even take him on that way through this next DRS zone. That would be the ideal. If we get him here, we'd be laughing because Danny Rick won't get DRS. Is Porsche going to be able to make up that much gap in that short straight? He's going to look round the outside into the chicane. Is he going to make it stick? He is going to make it stick. Teo Porsche goes up into 7th. And now Oscar Piastri, we can tell him to keep fighting his way forward. There could certainly be a way to get both of our drivers in the points today. It's not out of the question. But Porsche, the boy wonder now, is going to be looking to catch up to Lando Norris. Hopefully will do, although he's dropping back a little bit, so let's do a bit of a deploy just to try and get him closed back up to Lando, because it's going to be embarrassing if we don't catch up to Lando, considering we should have the pace. Show and Alonso have come in. Are they looking for a fastest lap? Surely not. Surely not looking for a fastest lap. That would be crazy, crazy talk. Talking of crazy, crazy talk, Porsche is going to have a look up the inside of Danny Rick here. I know because he told me that's what he's thinking. Have a look. Deploy, deploy, deploy. Let's get this done. I think we need to go into overtake mode, to be honest. Otherwise, he's not going to try the overtake. He's just going to try and stay up with him. And that's not what we're looking for. Come on, back through this DRS zone. Let's get deep on the overtake button. And let's see if we can do some catching up here. Norris is going to be a cork in the bottle. We get past him. We've got Leclerc in our sights. We should be able to do something special for the last few laps of the Grand Prix. Sector 3, there is a yellow flag. And it looks like it has been Guan Yu Zhou who's been that, which is not the one anyone wanted. Especially Guan Yu Zhou, it's got to be said. Alonso won't mind it at all, because it's giving him some clean air. Either way, we're still looking at the back of Lando Norris. Let's speed things up. Let's go as fast as we can towards the end of this race. There is a battle still going on up top ahead of with Verstappen and Sainz, by the way. Still battling for the lead. I mean, we had another look at the inside there. We've got to tell Porsche to go back to a neutral, unfortunately. We're under DRS. Can we do something to Lando Norris here to get past him? I feel like we've got the speed to make an example here. I feel like Piastri as well. We can probably harvest a little bit of ERS. And Porsche, I'm not going to risk it because I don't want Ricciardo getting within a second of us, because we don't want him getting dragged into the back of this fight. But we'll keep going for now, and we'll see if we can make something happen as quickly as we can. Porsche is being pulled clear, frankly, by Norris. We could have a couple of laps of harvesting with both of our cars. Hopefully we won't lose too much time. Keeping on the gap to Danny Rick, because that will be a big kind of game changer for us. Piastri does need to go to a neutral now to try and get himself up with Danny Rick. But we are looking good. We're looking okay. We're still in the points. Only 2 points, but we're in the points with Teo Porsche. Merely the two Mercs are going to pull away from us a little bit in the constructors, but that was to be expected. But, you know, Porsche could reclaim some points here. Piastri has got past Danny Rick in the background, or he is going to get past Danny Rick in the background. let's give you the overtake button, my friend, and let's see if you can make something happen through the next DRS zone, and then we'll do what we have to pull you away from Danny, get you into that final points-paying position, at least salvage some good points out of this race. That's what we're looking for. So we're coming into a DRS zone right now. Should be able to really push once that rear wing opens. Come on, Oscar, you can do this. Up the inside, son. That's what I'm thinking. Up the inside. He's not going to go for it. Very, very weak attempt by Oscar Piastri. Got to have another go here, going up towards the hairpin, though. That's an absolute certainty. If he doesn't do it up towards the hairpin, he's got to do it coming out of the hairpin. We're trying to save some ERS, though. That's what's important, because once we get past Ricciardo, we've got to go full deploy. So, going for the overtake out of that corner. Can we get ourselves onto the back of open DRS? Pushing, pushing, pushing. We've got to get past. Going to block us off again. Danny Rick with the defensive drive of a lifetime, you'd have to say. Going into the final chicane. Can we get in this time? Out of this corner. Going for the overtake button. Looking up the wall. I don't like people looking towards that wall. We saw what happened years ago with Button and Hamilton. We're going to the inside of turn 1, though. Up the inside. Can we make it stick? Round the outside of turn 2. Danny Rick's still got the better line, but we're not out of this fight just yet. In fact, this fight could be going on for quite some time. Pourchaire ahead of us. I'm going to give him the overtake capability to try and get him past Lando Norris, because he's about to come to a DRS zone. Talking of which, going into the DRS zone, Piastri having a look around the outside of Ricciardo. Can Piastri get himself ahead? He has done. Gets DRS, opens it up. Robert Chavarda's brother, and let's deploy that one and keep a gap building to Danny Ricciardo as fast as we can. Meanwhile, we're going to be looking for the overtake going into or out of the hairpin. That's our next move as a team. Get ahead of Lando Norris. It's very much the order of the day here. Although we are going to run out of ERS very quickly, this could be a big problem for us. Let's go into the neutral with Piastri. Are we going to get anything out of Lando Norris coming off of this next corner? We are going to use all of our ERS regardless, so I'm going to drop it down to a neutral. And hopefully we're close enough to get something out of these tyres. Right, talking of tyres, that curve's barely going to make it to the end. It's barely going to make it to the end. Piastri has lost a place again. It's very tight, this. Very, very tight. I don't know who is going to be the driver that gets to the end. But we are going to go fast forward now for a few more laps, see how things shake out. Pourchaire still on the back of Lando Norris. Piastri kind of being left behind to try and battle for that last point with Danny Rick. That's sort of his lot in life at this point. But even so, at the moment, Pourchaire still looking racy, still looking like he wants it. Shall we give him a bit more tyre? I don't know if that's worth the risk. If I'm honest, there's 5 laps to go, and I'm fairly confident these tyres are not going to make it all the way to the end unless something dramatic happens. We've been in such a battle, it's probably killed some of the tyre life as well, if I'm completely honest. Piastri, I don't think you can do any more pushing either, but I think that's probably not a great idea. Pourchaire's tyres are somehow more worn than Norris's, despite being, much newer. That's not helping matters at all with that battle. Either way, Pourchaire in a fight, Ricciardo in a fight. We're fighting with McLaren's. Perez is coming for another pit stop. What a disastrous race he's having, it's got to be said. And we just need to keep this going now until the end and see if we can get any kind of anything out of this. There's a sector 3 yellow flag. I think that may have been Perez, That may have been Perez. Piastri's got himself past Ricciardo, and we're going to give him the push on with Bottas with the spin. He's got the fastest lap as well, which is going to be a little bit upsetting for him. We're going to go for the overtake with Pourchaire as well through this lap, just to see if we can get ourselves into a fight a little bit more with Lando. We're in the closing stage of the Grand Prix. There are 4 laps to go. Tyre deg is going to be marginal at best, so, let's not get too excited. It's going to be marginal at best as we get to the end of the race. Piastri has really kind of wasted this set of tyres a little bit, so that's why I'm trying to push ahead with him right now to build that gap, because otherwise those tyres are not making it. What are Ricciardo's tyres looking like? They're way better than ours. I don't even know why I risked asking. Okay, so Pourchaire, we're going to take him down to light just to make sure he gets to the end of the race without dropping back too much. It should be fine. We should stay in touch. Sector 1, there's a yellow flag. I don't know who spun there. If I had to guess, I'd say it was Show. It was Show. There's a shocker. Show and Perez are going to finish next to each other, having made the most attempts to not win a race in history. I think it's very possible. Very possible. Either way, we've got the fight on behind us. We're going to go to a neutral just to try and keep this thing on an even keel. There's a lap and a half to go. It's probably not going to be any more points for us at this stage. Piastri does need to have a big push on the tyres. He's going to go full attack on the tyres. But both drivers will go full attack on the tyres for this last lap. See if there's anything left to be gained. I think the extra fuel we saved during the safety car has cost us a little bit actually as well, purely because we are going to be slightly heavier than the cars around us. But you never know, there could be a big move left to come. Porsche's tyres aren't completely dead yet. They will be by the time we get to the hairpin, so we need to make a move happen now. Piastri has got ahead of Ricciardo. We are at least looking at double points for this one as we get through towards the end of the race. We'll go off board. It's really slow off board. Let's not go off board. That's just not the one. Piastri having a push, trying to get himself clear of Ricciardo. Porsche having a push on his tyres, getting as close as he's been to Lando Norris. It's got to be said, but I'm not entirely sure he's going to make it. Let's go full deploy to the end though, because we're not no point us saving ERS. Let's just get a push out of this corner, get DRS open. Do we have the speed to get past Lando Norris? It's not impossible. It is impossible if we look to the outside because he'll have that covered all day, but we're going to try our best. Do all we have to do. Keep pushing. Keep pushing. No one locks up in the final corner. Can we make it stick across the line in a DRS? We're not going to get close enough. We're going to cross the line. And Porsche finishes in 7th. Piastri, it looks like, is coming home in P8. Someone has locked up. I'm not sure who it was. Ricciardo almost got past us under DRS. I think that may have been Ocon had the lock up. We've got ourselves double points, and double points is nothing to be sniffed at. We've still lost ground to the Mercs. We've picked up, I think, a point on. In fact, no, we've still dropped a point to the McLarens. But you know, we've made something happen at least. Verstappen, of course, picking up the win. Sainz for second. Russell rounds out the podium with Hamilton, Leclerc, Norris, and Porsche all within visual distance. I mean, the gap between the front 7 is about 2 and a bit seconds. It was quite a close finish for a Grand Prix by modern standards. And I think we're ready to wrap things up with some celebrations. Let's do celebrations, why not? Let's not watch all the celebrations because that will get old fast. And I get tired of watching celebrations. So, confirmation then, Verstappen wins the race. Sainz, Russell, Hamilton, Leclerc, Norris, Porsche and Piastri coming in with some points. Good work by Théo Pourchaire, possibly the driver of the day. Ricciardo and Ocon not getting any points, of course. Alonso, Bottas, Perez, Albon, Tsunoda, Guan Yu Zhou, Lance Stroll, Kevin Magnussen, Max Verstappen, and Pierre Gasly DNFing. In the drivers, though, we've got no movement at all for us. We're still in 6th with Piastri. He has picked up a point at least on Perez, the highest non-scorer. Russell picks up 6 points, and so to go 4 points behind Piastri and jump Fernando Alonso. Lando Norris, 3 points, helps him jump Valtteri Bottas, and Théo Pourchaire remains in 13th. Just behind Kevin Magnussen. In the constructors, though, I mean, we're fighting for 4th. At this point, unless something crazy happens, we're fighting for 4th. That is our future. Piastri picks up a little cheeky development point. That will help us out at least a little bit. So does Porsche. Schumacher doesn't, but any development point at this stage will help. I don't know if we got the fastest lap of the race. I think Bottas took the fastest lap of the race from us as well, just to add insult to injury as these things go. But we're going to get back to Grove now. I like to imagine this as being the flight back from the race. Ready to get home into the main control centre. And let's have a little look. Get those driver points on the drivers. So Piastri, I think it goes without saying, probably could use a bit of overtaking help. That will be a big boost for him. We'll give Théo Pourchaire as well, actually, probably needs the overtaking help. He's not doing a great job of overtaking recently. David Schumacher doesn't have any points. Any of our staffers got any points? Not just yet. So, next race, of course, is our home Grand Prix, the British Grand Prix. I don't think we're bringing any upgrades. I'll have a little look in a second after we've checked the mailbox. We have a new ATR period, which is good. Let's have a look at developments on the car. Anything coming in this week? I mean, we will get a new suspension in just before the British Grand Prix. We won't be able to build it in time for the British Grand Prix unless I cancel this project, which I may do. Let's cancel that project because there's no point us building any more suspensions there when we're going to get a new one in a week's time. And we can just put all that time and money into building ourselves the brand new suspension in time for Silverstone. Hopefully that new suspension, by the way, will have an impact. Let's see, does it tell me what gains I'm going to get from that? It doesn't tell me the gains I'm going to get from that. It has a button to show values and rank on the grid, and it does nothing. So, we'll see. I think side pods suspension is the thing that helps with straight line speed, which is definitely a thing we're going to need going into Silverstone. Anyway, guys, I'm very aware this is a very long episode. I'm really sorry about the very long episode. Have a little look at the standings. We're still sat in fourth. And I was just thinking actually very quickly before I forget, have a look at the board and see where we're at in terms of our objectives that wants us to get points in 50% of the season's races. We're halfway to getting points in half the races. They're disappointed in our finances somehow. Not sure how, but such is life. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. I haven't always been chasing lately. I'll see you all very soon with the next episode for the British Grand Prix. And if you haven't already, like, subscribe, ring the bell, leave the comments down below, share with your friends, and I'll see you all very soon. Have a good one.